Good afternoon. I've just spent the last 10 minutes listening to a radio article about how they've developed a new type of passion fruit that suits the Northern Territory's unique growing environment. The joys of local radio for you kids. Anyway, let's take another look around this weird and wonderful little town that is Tennant Creek. Amazingly, for a town in the middle of the Outback, they actually have a lake here. I've even seen people go swimming in there, but personally I don't really fancy it. It looks like there's loads of weeds and crap in it. It's actually man-made. I think it was constructed in the early 1980s. Marianne Dam is the name of it. So yeah, amazingly, there is actually water here. More than I can say for Alice Springs. There's also a creek just up the road which has pretty much permanent water in it. I have gone swimming there a couple of times, taken the dog. Great fun had by all. My God, it's hot as balls. And there's some people over yonder. I don't know if the mic is going to pick them up, but they're getting pretty rowdy. So I think it's time to leave. Oh, screw it, let's do some Camry off-roading. Oh God, this is stupid. This is like really loose, so there is absolutely no grip whatsoever. Other than that, she's actually doing okay. Oh God, having to brake. Okay. And that's today's bit of inappropriate vehicle off-roading for you. Oh my God, it is so hot here. Oh, water. Oh, God bless it. Oh my God, like every car in Tennant Creek decides to just pull up behind me at once. Okay, there we go. Right. Here's a couple of interesting little statistics about Tennant Creek. The rate of violent crime here, as in murders, serious assaults and attempted murders, is 50 times the national average in Australia. 50 times. That is scary. To put that into perspective, the murder rate here per capita is 30 times higher than it is in America. Let alone Australia, it's 30 times higher than America's. A country which, let's face it, has a bit of a reputation for people shooting people. And here, you are 30 times more likely to die as a result of a murder than you are in a country where you can buy guns in a supermarket. It's also worth noting that out of all the people that were charged and convicted of murder in Tennant Creek last year, precisely 100% of them were Aboriginal. That's also really, really insane. But to be honest, the way I see it is, it's the same old story. It's just classic intergenerational poverty. You know, people are born into this life of poverty and substance abuse and crime. In many cases, there is no way out. It is literally the only life they know, and it's really hard to break that cycle when you don't know anything else. You know, I have a choice as to whether I live here or not, but if you're an Aboriginal young fella or young one who was born here and all their family is here, it's really, really difficult to leave. And of course, Aboriginal people do have a really deep connection with their homeland and with their home country, which means that moving away from it is something that would be often quite traumatic to them. Which begs the question, what in the name of God is going to happen to improve the lot of the Aboriginal people? A people who have been in this country for 50-odd thousand years. I'll wager that most of the crap only started, I'd say, 220 or so years ago when Whitey showed up. Often the case, isn't it? Here's something that is quite cool about Tennant Creek, and that's the Catholic Church. It was actually built something like 850 kilometres up the road in a place called Pine Creek, and was transported down here in the 1930s when the Caucasian population of town was growing and they needed a Catholic church here. It actually had its 15 minutes of fame in 1985 when, of all people, Mother Teresa of Calcutta went to Mass here. Like, was Calcutta not bad enough for her? Tennant Creek is the first place I ever lived in the Northern Territory, and as I've mentioned previously, it was quite challenging at times. It was often terrifying, often infuriating, and even small little things would just drive you insane, like having to spend $7 for the coffee I need to function in the morning, or the fact that I paid $10 for a box of cereal once. You know, little things like that that'd just do your head in after a while. But this 3-week stint I'm doing here is probably going to be the last time I'll ever be here. And I'm oddly sad. You know, in a weird, probably kind of masochistic way, I'm gonna miss this place. Godspeed, Tennant Creek. You're a shithole, but I love you anyway.